the following presentation of the National Football League.
This place first opened way back in 1957. We are inside legendary Lambeau Field here in Green Bay. Tonight, we're on to week 2 of the NFL season. We got a good one on tap, as it'll be the Washington Commanders, Green Bay Packers. On the Washington sideline is head coach Dan Quinn. His guys got the season started on a high note, a home victory in the opener. His counter on the Packers sideline, Matt LaFleur. His guys, on the other hand, weren't as fortunate in the opener, so they'll look for their first win here at home in week 2. After a great first week of football, what does week 2 have in store? The Commander underway on Thursday night primetime. And he takes this near the 25, just a little past there, call it the 26. So here comes the Packers offense now onto the field. They'll be led out by a first-round pick in the 2020 draft out of Utah State. This is Jordan Love.
He had the numbers of a game last week that if you win, you talk about him being a gritty guy, managing the game, get it out. But they lost. Obviously, 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown pass, going to be good enough. Got to get that changed around.
Brings up second down at the 26-yard line.
Second down, Jacobs once more. And they're able to get this one across the 35. Give him 10 there, good enough for a Packer first down.
Packers first down. First and 10 at the 37-yard line.
How many times do we say in this game that speed kills, and it does it in so many different ways? In this case, you got a back who's quick and shifty, can make moves, make people miss, but also gets to and through a hole before it can close down. That's some of the benefits of that speed, not just outrunning people in the secondary, and that led to a really nice game.
2 yards the loss, second and 12. What we just saw, we saw a lot of last week. He had 5 tackles for loss a week ago and 1 here in the first quarter now.
And I think a lot of that comes from not just his athletic ability and his intelligence and understanding.
The pressure gets to Love, and he'll go down. Multiple players combined for their team's first sack of the game. Everybody was coming on the blitz that time, and they got home.
And you know the expression, hat on a hat, in terms of blocking, trying to keep your quarterback protected? Well, don't have enough hats. That's the end result. Your quarterback goes down, and sometimes he goes down hard.
Room past the 35. And he gets this only to the 41. Not near enough for the first.
A gain of 12 yards.
It'll be a gain of 12, but it will also lead to 4th down. And here's Daniel Whelan on now to punt. Yeah, he was looking for the checkup bounce, didn't get it. That scoots all the way into the end zone now for a touchback. So here are the Commanders making their way out. And they will be led out by their second-year quarterback.
And he was terrific in the opener, threw 3 touchdown passes, and make no mistake about it, he was eager to get right back out and do it again. So I think we'll see him try to test the secondary quite a bit as this game goes on.
He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
It's a loss of a yard. Brings up 2nd and 11 at the 19-yard line.
To throw is Daniels. And this turns into a nice gain with a slide at the end. That will play, but it ends up being a good play. The scramble goes for 20. Back to throw now on first down. That's out wide here for Robinson.
Daniels gain of 4. It's now 2nd and 6.
They'll throw here out of the gun. This one hauled in, and again it's Robinson. And he'll take it down shy of the 45 at the 46. So on the other side of the field now, it's 1st and 10 as they've got things rolling on this drive. Now a handoff to Rodriguez. And he'll manage to pick up about 4 at 2nd down. Here's a 2nd and 5.
A gain of 4 brings up 2nd down.
Looking to throw. Daniels. And he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down. Multiple players combined for their team's first sack of the game.
Now that's a heck of a moment for your first sack of the game, because if this long drive ends without a touchdown because of that sack, we're going to look back and say that might be one of the biggest plays of this contest.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Dancing to his left. And he is caught. And this is going to result in another 1st down as the tackle's made at the Packers' 29-yard line. A big play there as they get the conversion on 3rd and 13. Come in as they're going to stop him behind the line. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12.
It's a loss of 2. Brings up 2nd and 12. At the Packers' 31-yard line.
Back to throw. Daniels. And he's going to be taken down. Pressure gets there back at the 39-yard line. The pressure from multiple guys there as they bury him for a big 9-yard loss.
3rd and 1.
On 3rd down, Robinson. And he'll lose yardage here, back at the 41. A 3-yard loss, 4th down now.
Well, they certainly didn't appear to be fired up about their options throwing the football. So, to me, this seems like Casey just kind of taking their medicine there, run the ball, see if they could pick up something. Instead, they were throwing for a loss.
On is the punt team now as this one's sent away. And he couldn't get it to check up. That kicks all the way to the end zone for a touchback. The Packers offense here coming back out for their 2nd drive. The last series for them, a little disappointing, forced to punt. And now they'll try to do better here and come away with some points as they begin this drive, 1st and 10. On the ground, it's Jacobs to start the drive. And he is swallowed up right at the line of scrimmage. A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11.
2nd and 11.
Working out of the gun. Love. The connection with his running back, Josh Jacobs. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line.
That's good for the Packers. 1st down.
Love. They go play action now. Same target. It's Jacobs again. Here's 2nd and 3.
It's a gain of 7. Brings up 2nd and 3 at the 38-yard line.
Here's Jacobs from the gun. And nowhere to run on the interior of that defensive line. He'll get back only to the line of scrimmage.
He was taken down behind
an extra man in the secondary for Washington on 3rd down. They'll motion the tight end across the formation. Love looking to throw it. And that is too far out in front. He couldn't haul it in. Incomplete.
Looks like a second empty possession to start the game, and certainly not the way you want to start when you come in off of a loss last week. Every team talks about starting fast. They're hoping on their next possession, it can be a delayed fast start and get them going.
On 4th down, the punt team is on as this is sent away. A 44-yard punt. They're going to wind up losing yardage on the return, though. And the Commanders will take over, but backed up deep in their own territory. They're coming out with a jumbo package to start the drive. They start on the ground with Robinson here. And he works it across the 25 before being tackled. The drive starting with a 1st down, 11 yards on that pickup.
1st down, Commanders.
Blitz coming, and down he goes. They could not contain as he gets home for the sack. And that is the third sack this offensive line has allowed this first quarter.
Yeah, that puts him on pace. Let me do the rudimentary math here. To be sacked 12 times in a game. I know he's not going to go for that. I wonder if it's going to reshape what they decide to do on offense in terms of play calling.
Well, I can tell you what, when he popped up, shaking his head, frustrated right now behind center. And this turns into a nice gain with a slide at the end. No one there to help out downfield, but no problem. Scrambling for 22 and a first.
The sack on first down took him out of a traditional running play and put him in a passing situation, but didn't stop him from running anyway, did it?
No, I was surprised when he took off. I thought, oh, he's got some space. He might pick up 5, 6, 7 yards. He goes all the way and picks up the first. Now it's 2nd and 10. To the air goes Daniels. Firing quickly, but it's incomplete.
Really nice play by the guys on the defensive side of the ball, but for the guys on the offensive line, they're doing a nice job of trying to protect their passer. But when a guy hops in the air and goes airborne to try and knock one away, it's difficult because you can't reach out and grab him. That'll be a holding penalty. So all you're trying to do is make some type of a play on him, make some type of contact to try and get his arms out of the sky.
So the completion results there in 9 yards. And that'll bring up 4th down.
Press way and punt formation quarters.
No score after 1 on EA Sports. Washington with the football here to begin quarter number 2. And no move to get the offense off the field. They'll stay put on 4th and 1. They'll run for it with Robinson. And he gets this one across midfield for the first down to the 46.
At the 46-yard line. A gain of a yard. First down, Washington.
Back to Robinson now on first down. It's a loss of a yard there, and it's 2nd down.
The running lanes have definitely not been there for him here in the first half, and I don't think it's all been his fault. His offensive line hasn't given him much space. A loss results there.
From the shotgun, it's Daniels. Hurts over the middle. And this tackle's made at the Packers' 26. A good pick up there of 20 yards.
First down, Washington.
And now at this point in the first half, you got to realize as an offense, you're not going to get it all back in one fell swoop. This is going to be about sustained drives and making sure you finish with points. And that's a good throw there for a first down.
He was brought down by Javon Bullard.
Here's Daniels. This to McLaurin out on the left side. The offense on third down tonight, just 1 for 3 thus far. They need just a yard here. It's 3rd and 1. And I don't think he got there. No, they stop him right where it all started. Only a few inches needed on the sneak. He didn't get it, and now it's 4th down. Daniels going to throw for it. He's got his target. That's complete. And he'll be taken down, but he does have first down yardage.
It's a gain of 3. And the Washington first down.
Working out of the gun, Daniels. Out route, and it's complete to Brown. And inside the 5 here before he's out of bounds, right at the 3.
Brings up 2nd and inches. At the 3-yard line.
Back to the ground with Robinson. And he's maybe going to get this back to the 4, but that's about all.
Brought down behind the line of scrimmage.
It'll go as a loss of a yard, and it'll set up 3rd down.
That was well played there defensively. 2 tight ends in the formation, which essentially gave them 7 blockers up front. Hard to imagine with all that size and beef that they could let a tackler through, but that's exactly what happened. A loss resulted.
Here's Rodriguez. Boy, no chance as he was met and dropped behind the line there. That winds up being a 4-yard loss and leads to 4th down.
That's a really alert defense there because they saw the heavy look come in from the offense, countered it with extra linebackers who brought a little bit of speed and heft, and able to really make a big-time play for their defense.
And Gay knocks this one through, and it's 3-0 Washington. Well, in a close game like this, obviously you want the touchdown, but certainly they will take the 3.
And they'll be okay with that, but let's throw a little credit to the defense as well. I'm just glad this doesn't come down to a debate, right? Which side won, partner? Because the defense, hey, we didn't give up a touchdown. The offense, hey, we put 3 on the board. Either way you look at it, I think both sides gained something out of that drive. Now, that's the kind of return that warms the heart of the special teams coach. He'll be pushing us next time, Brandon, to make sure his guys are introduced in the starting lineups. These guys have such an influence on every game. The unsung heroes, remember, they have their own meetings, their own practice time, heck, their own spot on the bench in order to be ready to play each and every week.
The Green Bay offense now about ready to take possession here. This one a little slow to get cooking. Just a 3-0 scoreline as they begin with a 1st and 10. 20! And finally down he goes as they work it inside the 10 to the 7. It's a gain of 35. Now a chance to make that big play really hurt. It's 1st and goal just outside the 5.
7-yard line.
Here's Jacobs. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down.
Sometimes I think cornerbacks can benefit from the fact that quarterbacks might just forget about the idea that they might be near the line of scrimmage. How about the anticipation there, sneaking in and making a big play in the backfield?
Throwing. Love. Touchdown! Matthew Golden with his first career NFL touchdown. And the Packers have taken the lead. So that's the rookie's first trip to the end zone, and I think it's safe to say one he'll always remember.
Oh, without a doubt. That one is going to be imprinted forever. And nowadays, we're seeing rookies make a greater impact at that position at receiver than ever before. I think mainly because of the balls that they catch in college.
McManus's point after is good, and that makes it a 7-3 lead. After the touchdown, here's McManus now to kick it away. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28. The Commanders' offense returning to the field. Their drive last time, it stalled out. They were forced to take the short field goal.
And the key phrase, you nailed it. Forced to, because you know coaches look at these short field goals as a last resort, right? To them, that's not how drives are supposed to end. You're supposed to put 6 on the board. That's a consolation prize. Like going to the county fair, you don't get the big stuffed animal on that one, do you?
No, you don't go top shelf. That's bottom shelf material. And he'll be tackled right on the chalk of the 45. 12 yards is the pickup, and it's good for a Washington 1st down. Play action, now it's Daniels. Checks this one down to Robinson. The completion, but they go in the wrong direction. A loss of yards, and now they're dealing with a 2nd and long.
He's taken out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage.
Now Daniels. Packer pressure, and down he goes. Kenny Clark. That is now 2 sacks for him here in this 1st half. So that now 4 first-half sacks. This pass rush has been unrelenting.
And partner, you hear that sound of paper being ripped to shreds? That's the game plan that they've had so far, because they've got to say to themselves right now, we have to do something differently.
Daniels looking to throw. Looking for McLaurin, and he's got him. And he'll be out of bounds up near the 45 at the 44. And now the punter, Tress Way, as he sends this one away. Calls for the fair catch, makes the fair catch just inside the 15-yard line. The Packers offense and running back Josh Jacobs set to take over once more. And he has been a big component of the passing game so far. You see the numbers for this first half. This defense is going to need to find some way to key in on him because he is eating them up right now. Fights loose. And he works it across the 25 before being tackled. 54 yards rushing now on 8 carries for him so far. Well, he's broken off some big-time runs here in this first half.
Yeah, and let's just face it. When you go into a game, you think you've got the plays that are going to work, but when you actually get out there and they're starting to happen, your confidence rises, and he's running with terrific ability right now.
2nd and 10.
It's now 2nd and 10.
They'll bring the tight end in motion right here. That'll be caught right side by Reed. 4 receivers in the package. Here's 3rd and 7.
A gain of 2 brings up
Love. He finds his man complete. That's Reed. And he's going to have the Packers first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
Packers first down. 1st and 10 at the 38-yard line.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. On the handoff, this is Jacobs. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. 2 minutes to play in this first half. 7-3, our score. Here now, 2nd and 9 from the 39-yard line. In motion, the tight end. To pass, here's Jordan Love. Short throw, he's got Kraft. Give him a gain of 5 on the completion. And now we've got a 3rd and 4.
That's a gain of 5. Brings up 3rd and 4.
Love now. Rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. Picked up by the linebacker, Bobby Wagner. And the Commanders are going to take over a couple of yards shy of midfield.
Offensively, when you see cover 2, the thought has to go through the quarterback's head. Drive the football when making throws. It's not just the deep guys covering. It's the guys underneath you have to be careful of. Drive your throw. Otherwise, you see what results? Interceptions.
Now the Commanders' offense set to take over. They start near midfield following the interception as they begin 1st and 10. To throw is Daniels. That's Samuel, caught left side. And he's got this down to the 35. 17 yards on the catch and run. It's a first down.
It's a gain of 6 yards. And the Commanders' first down.
Throwing now is Daniels. Caught by the tight end Ertz. And Washington now going to use the first of their 3 timeouts as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming 2nd down play.
At the 32-yard line.
Looking to throw. Daniels. That's out wide here for Robinson. And he is out of bounds inside the 30. 3rd and 2. Robinson will try to pick it up. And Robinson will not get there. Great defense at the point of attack and to stop him short of the first. The Packers going to use one of their timeouts as they'll stop it with a tick under a minute to go before half.
A 46-yard attempt.
Gay's kick is good. And they'll get it back within a point at 7-6. So, Charles, they get to them with their first turnover of the game and then make it hurt a little bit extra with a field goal.
And anytime you give the ball up, what's the first thing a coach tells his defense? Don't let them score off of this. You've got to put out the fire. In fact, in 2021, that's what one NFL coach turned his defense. The firemen. Go out there, guys, and don't let them put some points on the board.
The Packers with the football here late in this first half. Just inside of a minute left, Charles. They got a pretty long field ahead of them. I'm curious to see how they play this, but you would think definitely enough time to at least try to get 3 of this.
Yeah, you want to move with a nice sense of pace. You want to up the tempo a little bit, but you have to do it with some poise as well. You don't want to go so fast that you hurry yourself into mistakes. There's enough time to put points on the board if they do it right.
And even though they have the lead, you know that they would love to extend this lead before heading to the locker room. To throw now, here's Love. And that falls to the ground, incomplete. A nice job of bodying him up defensively, and now it brings up 3rd down. Again, it's Love. He's going to loft one deep left side here. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete.
And they're not going to go quietly into this halftime break. They know they're in for a fight, so they're trying to make every possession count. They took the big shot there, but it winds up incomplete.
Here's Daniel Whelan now.
For the Packers.
Averaging over 50 yards a punt so far as this one's away.
The Commanders take over.
Out there set and ready for this next drive, the Washington offense. And with only 9 seconds remaining, with not much time, we'll see how they play this. And defensively, they're just looking to keep him contained as they're able to get him down. So halftime is upon us on Thursday night primetime, and we go off to Orlando. And Scott Hansen for our halftime report.
All right, Brandon, thanks much. Scott Hansen, good to be with you from the Orlando EA Sports Studios with an abridged halftime report. This one shaping up to be a tight one, as evidenced by the scoreboard. Both these teams playing it close to the vest in the first half. What will happen in the second half? Let's find out as we send it back to the stadium and our commentary team, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Okay, Scott, thanks a bunch. And we'll see which team's adjustments are going to pay dividends here as we are just about ready for the start of the second half. And he won't quite make it to the 25. The Washington offense ready to go to begin the 3rd quarter. And they're on the short end of the scoreboard here. Charles, what adjustments, if any, do you think they need to make for the second?
Well, paraphrasing the gold medal hockey winning coach Herb Brooks, I just say you continue to play your game. Throw the ball. They had success doing it in the first half, so make sure you keep getting the ball to your playmakers, a little bit more to the perimeter perhaps, but above all, play your game.
This is Ertz on the pitch and catch, and he's out of bounds, able to take this one up to the 35.
A 5-yard gain on the play. First down, Washington.
And he will lose yardage here to the 31-yard line. Great stop by Devontae Wyatt, breaking through the line and stopping it cold.
When a draw works, it can be a thing of beauty, but when it doesn't, oh, it can be ugly. And in this case, loss of yardage ugly.
2nd and 14. That's complete to his receiver, McLaurin. Calling a gain of a yard. And that's going to lead to a 3rd and 12. Let's see what they have drawn up here. A little bit behind the line. 12 yards needed to gain a first down. Daniels from the gun on 3rd down. And the Packers give him nowhere to go, and they bring him down. Kenny Clark in there to get him yet again. That is his 3rd sack tonight. They can't figure him out.
My man, it's been a rough night for that offensive line, and it's only getting rougher. 5 sacks now that they've given up in this contest so far. It feels like the witching hour out here, doesn't it?
Okay, stupid question. What's the witching hour?
Yeah, the witching hour. That's when everything goes haywire late at night.
A 41-yard punt, and it'll be Packer football here. First down and 10. Break the huddle, lead the Packers up here 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. And he'll drop here to throw. He has it complete to Christian Watson. And brought down, but not before reaching the 45-yard line.
Packers, first down. 1st and 10 at the 45-yard line.
As they began this drive, I was wondering how they were going to attack since they're playing with the lead. Would they continue to try and push the ball downfield? Well, after one play, it appears that the answer is yes.
And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. That's going to wind up a loss of a full 3 yards on first down.
Have to give credit for a nice play there, but also have to look at it as a blown assignment. He became a free runner that turned into a free hitter.
He'll get this underneath to Jacobs. And he'll be brought down at the 45-yard line. Heavy set out there on 3rd and 1.
Brings up 3rd and less than a yard.
He'll sneak it. And he's going to have the Packers first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
I don't know about you, but I like this call. 3rd and inches, and instead of worrying about getting it back to a running back and maybe there's some penetration from the defensive front, just go ahead and take it, move forward, and pick up the first down.
And as we say often, it shows confidence in your offensive line. Now he tries to keep the legs churning, but he's going to be stopped behind the line.
I like the strategy. Extra tight ends, extra beef. They want to run the football, but that means they probably want to run it inside. If you get strung out on the perimeter, you're in peril.
Yeah, we saw the result, negative yardage. A throw left side, it's hauled in by Golden. 7th play of the drive, forthcoming on 3rd and 8.
That's a gain of 4.
Love looking to throw it. He's going to launch this deep for Watson. Christian Watson, his first touchdown here of the new campaign. And the Packers are able to extend. And correct me if I'm wrong, that was just a simple fly route, wasn't it?
No, there's nothing to correct at all. You've got it down pat. And I just remember as a player, Evers, that meant fly route, go, look out. That was the 9, and he just kept going all the way into the end zone for the touchdown.
Extra point from McManus is good. And the lead is up to 8. So the drive winds up going 75 yards in 7 plays. And we welcome you back now. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gunn, getting set for quarter number 3 here. Happening on the return as he'll get this to about the 23. Well, here we go on the next drive for Washington. Over on the sideline, home set button between possessions. Last time out, they had to punt it away. This time hoping to finish this thing off in the end zone. To the air goes Daniels. Give him a couple on the scramble. It's 2nd down.
His running ability has been an extra dimension of their game plan thus far. For once, though, he doesn't create any magic against the front. They're prepared for him to try and take off.
Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. Fortunate to get that football back because trailing here in the second half, last thing they needed was to lose the possession.
And the word I think of here is opportunity because it could have been lost there, their chance to score points. But the opportunity for the defense was to go ahead and really close this game down if they were able to get possession.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. So that'll be no better than an incompletion. And that's going to make it 4th down. Here's Tressway now. As the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. And now a fair catch called for and taken just outside the 40-yard line. They call it 38 yards on the punt, no return. And they will take over 1st and 10. Looking to put a drive together. To start the drive. And he's going to take this ahead for right around 3, more than that. 2nd down. From the 46-yard line, a 2nd down and 6.
At the 46-yard line.
Here's Love. He's going to leave this for his running back. It's complete. Still leading 10 yards. Now it's 3rd down.
He's forced out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage.
In motion comes the tight end left. Now Love. A throw left sideline falls incomplete. They don't get the hook up there, but you really have to marvel at how precise he's been throwing the football these last couple weeks.
Oh, that's the perfect word for it, precise, because if you're at 70% or better 2 weeks in a row, you have a job as long as you want one in this league, won't you? I mean, let's face it, it's not just West Coast downfield as well.
Fair catch signaled for and taken at about the 15-yard line. It'll be a 39-yard punt, no return. And it will be Washington football now with a 1st and 10.
He hadn't had a ton of success here so far, but you get the feeling that he might be on the verge of popping one.
Yeah, even on that one, there was a little bit of a hole, but closed there quickly at the end. Here's Daniels. They're unable to connect, but a late flag comes in. And the contact may have come too early. After the penalty, a fresh set of downs. It's 1st and 10. Straight ahead, it's Robinson. And he'll fight forward maybe to the line of scrimmage, but that's all. A play, and it's second.
He continues to struggle to find a crease to break off a big one and might need to just put that aside and just try and ram his way forward and get what he can.
Too much that time. It's incomplete.
One thing I have learned, receivers don't mind high throws so much to the sideline, but do that over the middle to them, and not only the DB's going to throw a little verbal trash their way, when they get to the hole, they got a few words to say to their QB, aren't they?
Yeah, hung out to dry a little bit there on the high throw. Luckily fell incomplete. Work to do here to avoid falling to 1 and 1, but this is 1st and 10 right now. From the 33, here's 2nd and 9.
No gain on the play. Brings up 2nd down at the 33-yard line.
They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. And they'll get this one down to about the 20-yard line. The Washington passing game dialed in now. It's a 1st down.
Now what we're seeing, this is much better from this offense because so far in this game, no touchdown to this point. And what's usually a direct correlation? Very few explosive plays. That's been their issue. Not able to make that big shot downfield or break one off, but a nice game there for a 1st down.
Well, thanks for joining us here on a Thursday night in the NFL. 3rd quarter, 2nd and 10 coming up. Back to throw again. Eluding the pressure right. And he slides and covers up at the end as he's going to be able to pick up decent yardage. He'll end up getting 5 out of that, but now they're looking at 3rd down. They'll need 5 on this play to move the sticks. Working out of the gun, Daniels. And he picks up the first as he's able to take it down to the 7-yard line. Give him 7 on the tuck and run, and it'll get him a new set of downs.
7-yard line.
4th quarter coming up here on Thursday Night Primetime. We'll return with more after this. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. Back now at Lambeau. 1st and goal, a touchdown and a 2-point conversion here are musts. They'll run with Robinson. And he takes it in. Touchdown, Washington. Brian Robinson, his 1st rushing touchdown on the year. And the Commanders have a chance to tie things up as they trail by 2 here in the 4th. So part 1 of what they needed is done. They get in the end zone. Now you have to imagine we'll see a try for 2.
And that's what the book says, but defensively, they can't hang their head right here. They still got a chance to come out with the lead if they make a play. And I love their aggressiveness. Go ahead and get it done, get the game tied. Now your team has the momentum, and you're staring across the field saying, let's see if you can match us.
And they'll start this drive just across the 30. Pretty nice work on the return. Both teams working on short rest, but this has been one of the better Thursday night games we've seen as they come up here on 1st and 10. He finds his receiver, Watson. And they get him down, but not before before he takes it across the 40-yard line.
And the Packers first down.
Here's Jacobs on 1st and 10. And give him about 5 as he gets this up to the 48-yard line.
At his 48-yard line.
From the 48-yard line, here's 2nd down and 5. Love, they go play action now. He finds his man, complete. It's Reed. And they're going to have another first down here as the tackle's made at Washington's 27-yard line.
That's good for a Green Bay Packer. 1st and 10 at the 27-yard line.
Throwing. Love. Over the middle, complete. It's Reed. Here's 2nd and 7.
A 2-yard gain brings up 2nd down at the Commanders' 24-yard line.
Love fires that quickly onside. So he stopped for no gain. 3rd and 7 now.
No gain on the play.
All right, partner, I wasn't good enough to get this done, but I played with plenty who did. When they spotted wide receiver screen and they got to the football fast and blew the whole thing up, the same result as we just saw usually happened. No gain.
Working the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. And they've got it inside the 10 at the 8. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
1st and goal at the 8-yard line.
Running straight ahead is Jacobs. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. That's going to go as a loss of 1 on 1st down.
Partner, one thing I was lousy at growing up, track and field, I could never anticipate the start before a race, but how about that backer? He figured it out, just play for his defense.
2 of their 3 red zone trips so far they've come up empty on. They'll look to reverse that trend on 2nd and goal. Firing quickly out wide as well. And he's going to take it in. Touchdown, Packers. Matthew Golden with 2 touchdowns on the season, both in this game. And the Packers answer back with a touchdown of their own to break our tie and take the lead here in the 4th. Now McManus for the extra point. It's up and good, and that'll make the score 21-14.
Makes the score Packers.
So that drive goes 8 plays. And the capper that put it in the end zone, a run of 8 yards. After the touchdown, here's McManus now to kick it away. And out a little across the 25 to the 27. The Commanders preparing for their next possession. This up, out of bounds. To throw is Daniels. Now he's free at the 35. And all the way down to the 17-yard line. So the big play means just like that, they'll operate from the red zone now on 1st down. Throwing now is Daniels. And that, nearly picked off. It would have been a great time for their first interception of the game. Instead, it's 2nd down. Daniels looking to throw. That's going to be set up with a 1st and goal coming up as they get him down at the 6-yard line. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Robinson. And the stop will come inside the 5 at the 4.
It's a gain of a yard. Brings up 2nd and goal at the 4-yard line.
Here he goes. And he'll get this one back to the 5-yard line, but no further than that. That backs him up 1 yard and brings up 3rd down.
And now 3rd and goal coming up, the loss on 2nd down. That just means this crowd's going to get even louder, and they'll get a little bit of extra help from the defenders as they exhort him.
In trouble, and he'll go down back at the 12. Call it a loss fourth down, 4th and goal. Offensively, they're going to have to figure this out before next week. 7 sacks in one game.
Yeah, and that's more than any quarterback should have to bear. And if this continues on, there will be another quarterback in the game because no one can stand up to this week after week.
And gain, and that'll bring them back within 4. So an interesting call there to take the 3. I mean, I guess they're thinking that their hands were tied, but, fourth quarter, that field goal might not help them that much in the end.
Yeah, eventually they're going to need the touchdown. The thinking must have been they didn't feel confident about picking it up there, hoping maybe on defense they can get better field position, get a turnover, get a better play, and then they'll have a chance to attack the end zone.
The home team's offense and their quarterback headed out for this next possession. About set to get this drive started, the Green Bay offense at the line. They have the lead, obviously, late in the game. I guess the good news for them is if for some reason they would make a mistake, a field goal does the opposition no good.
And that helps you immeasurably. But the bottom line is, do all the things a game. Don't even let that become an issue.
Yeah, but still a one-possession game. This one not fully over yet. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. 92 yards on the ground for him now as he has gotten better, really, as the night's gone on. At carries like that, that's how they're going to continue to salt this thing away here, Charles, in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, how about that? A new set of downs. Clock continues to move. No better way to close out a game than to tap those mastodons you have up front and say, guys, keep pounding them. Let's keep the ball, keep their offense on the sidelines, and let's close this one out.
Jacobs going to try the middle. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. It'll go down as a 2-yard loss, and it brings up a 3rd down.
It's 3rd and 9.
To pass, here's Jordan Love. Oh, he had him. He was open, but he couldn't get it to him. It's incomplete.
I know coaches tell us all the time that having a powerful arm isn't the #1 thing they look for in a quarterback. But when you're trying to throw inside routes and you need to put some heat on it, it helps to have the big gun. In this case, just a little bit too much.
Spot it. They say just outside the 20-yard line. Here comes the Commanders' offense back onto the field. Their defense accomplished step 1 of the mission. They forced the punt. Now they'll look to erase that deficit and take a fourth quarter lead. Throwing to start the drive. Daniels. This to McLaurin out of left side. They come up now on 2nd and 2.
A gain of 7 brings up 2nd down at the 29-yard line.
Back to throw. Daniels. Quick slant to Brown.
This has to go down as one of the simpler routes in the playbook, but oh so effective. Nice completion there. Keeps the sticks moving.
Fourth quarter, down to the final 2 minutes, and we've got a 1-score game. Plenty of time. All 3 timeouts still remain. Here's 1st and 10 now. Robinson up the middle. And he stopped immediately there.
Not in a position where they absolutely have to rush right now, but they definitely have to pick up the tempo a bit.
Here's 2nd down. And that's complete to Brown. And they get to him after a gain of 6 to the 46. Washington now going to use the first of their 3 timeouts as they'll talk it over here before what will be an important 3rd down. Now a desperation throw deep downfield. And unable to connect, incomplete. Now give them credit, they took their shot, but it's going to bring up 4th down.
Partner, they've got 1 chance left to keep this one going, and I think for you and me, let's think along with their offensive coordinator now. Has to think back, cycle through every play of this contest, and remember what's worked and what hasn't. Because right here, he needs the best play of the game in order to keep this one alive.
And down he goes, but the stiff arm utilized effectively there, and it helps him move the sticks.
An 8-yard pickup. 1st down, Washington.
Back to throw. And he can't get a throw off. He's taken down. What a huge play at this point in the game. The Commanders going to use the second of their timeouts as they'll talk things over, coming second down play. They're making steady progress, but I see your face. You're worried about the clock.
I'm worried about the clock, and at some point, you have to have a splash play in there as well.
He's back to throw. He's going to drop this underneath for Robinson. And he gets this only to the 44-yard line. Not near enough to keep the drive alive.
It's now fourth down.
Daniel's going to throw for it. And it's going to be batted down. It will go the other way with the football. They had to go for it with such little time remaining. And this 10-play drive winds up yielding nothing. So the magic runs out, so to speak. They were 3 for 3 on fourth down conversions, now 3 for 4.
So the defense finally gets to exhale.
Yeah.
Because they were wondering, 3 for 3 getting converted on fourth down, that percentage is way high. They hadn't stopped them at all. Finally, they get a stop. They can get to the sidelines now and rest a little bit.
We all just got a heck of a show, partner. This was a close game for a long time. Close at half, close down the stretch. Home team finds a way to get it done, a narrow victory.
Yeah, they finished with a flourish, didn't they? Because there were times where each side looked like they were the better team out there. And the outcome was in doubt for much of this game. Every snap seemingly more important than the previous one. Great effort from the guys visiting. But in the end, how about those guys in their home stadium finding a way to win?
So for the Packers, they at least get the win here to earn a split of their first 2 home games. And they'll get a few extra days to savor this one before they take on the Cleveland Browns. Meanwhile, for Washington, they will fall to 1-1. And they'll get a chance to redeem themselves at home next week. I'm Brandon Gaudin. Certainly have to thank Charles Davis, my broadcast partner, and our entire crew. We'll catch you next time right here. It's the NFL on EA Sports.